7th of October this year, a men's open day was held in Reefton, aiming to establish a local men's group as the next step to extend the network of men's groups in the top of the South Island. The first men's group in the top of the South started in Nelson nearly 30 years ago. They soon set up a twice-yearly regional gathering at Lake Rotoiti, open to men's groups and interested individual men that continue to this day. The men come together for a weekend, sharing their stories, exploring issues and emotions, and supporting each other. Men's groups are small autonomous groups of ordinary men who come together to talk about their lives. We don't get waylaid talking about politics, religion or other topics, but we focus on ourselves. Confidentiality is critical. We typically have a talking stick, so whoever has the stick holds the floor and has the time and space to fully explore their own issues. We're respectful of each other and we hold a pro-women approach. It's crucial that a safe, supportive and trusting environment is built that enables men to talk where they might not otherwise. Groups normally come together once every 2 weeks for an evening. Now and then, a small group weekend away will be held, and that enables a powerful deep dive that builds our bonds together as a group. Each group is different. In some groups, members meet regularly between meetings, others do not. Non-violence programs also started in Nelson around that time, working with men struggling to cope with issues of abuse and violence. After the Kaikoura earthquake in 2016, many people's lives were disrupted and longer-term social issues soon emerged. I was working for RISE facilitating non-violence programs, and I was asked to set up a program in Kaikoura. And as the program became established, a men's group arose, open to all men seeking support and wanting to improve their lives. This combination of a short-term program giving people skills and understanding, supported by an ongoing support group, proved to be a powerful combination. By 2022, we found a local person to continue the work in Kaikoura. We wondered if the Kaikoura experience might work elsewhere in our region and turned our sights to the west coast. 2 years ago, a Nelson men's group met at Mangarako Swamp for a weekend. Some of the men expressed a desire to expand what we had to offer to more men. Hardy Beckett and Victor McGill found that there were other men's groups they didn't even know about around the top of the South. Before long, a new men's group was started in Nelson, making around 12 groups in the top of the South. An application to the Lotteries Boards gave us funds to hold the first International Men's Day celebrations in Nelson and in Kaikoura in November 2022. There were speakers, workshops, demonstrations, food and music. Around 100 men came and a further Nelson men's group was established. With the success of the day, we were encouraged to keep expanding. We joined with RISE, which was offering non-violence programs to the community, to apply for funding from the Ministry of Social Development's Changemaker Fund. Victor and Hardy next identified Reefton as a key central point in a region with few social supports and significant social issues, and decided to start building support for our idea in the Reefton community. It was important that the community embraced the idea and took ownership rather than seeing it as being controlled by outsiders. The start was the Reefton Men's Open Day. There was an enormous amount of preparation needed. Posters were put up around town. The local newspaper, The Clarion, had articles and ads over several weeks, as well as articles and advertisements in the Greymouth and Westport papers that also come to Reefton. We received help from the Rural Support Trust to cover food costs for a free lunch. We had an impressive lineup of speakers and support from all the men's groups around the top of the South. We were blessed with good weather.
Greymouth and Hokitika are represented as well, and we've got someone from our Westport men's group as well.
First up was some entertainment to get people's attention. The local fire brigade and first aid groups organised a car wreck to demonstrate the spreading and cutting tool to gain access into a car so that CPR could be administered. That was followed by a trailer backing competition, going around a difficult course as quickly as possible without knocking over road cones. There was a $100 prize for the winner. A free lunch was served while this was happening. Next we had the local MP, Damien O'Connor, who opened the afternoon.
And the objective of this day is really to bring people here to Reefton to try and form a men's support network. A group, or it might be a men's shed or whatever it is, And we are almost half of the population, we men, about 49%. And sometimes we just take for granted the fact that men can get access to the support they need or reach out for that support. And actually the truth is that doesn't happen.
That was followed by Royce Willis, an ex-All Black and member of Nelson's men group, speaking about his life and the pressures of competing at that top level. Ken Clearwater came from Christchurch to talk about his personal experience as a male survivor of sexual abuse and about the services that are available for survivors. Bernard Smith talked about how non-violence programs and men's groups complemented each other as a way of providing more effective services for men. Rob Roach came from the Kaikoura men's group to talk about how the Kaikoura experience of starting up a men's group went and how it has impacted positively on the lives of group members. Then Andy Giblin talked from his personal life experience as a counsellor and the day-to-day issues he hears about from local men. Josie Young from Potini Waiora spoke about the impact of alcohol and drugs. Terry Kingi told us of how he works with people who have suffered trauma by using horses. He brought several of his horses along and they walked all through the crowds. Pavel Baris talked from the Cancer Society about his experiences getting men to get checked for cancers. And then Joshua Mahuika talked about rural mental health. Now we've already established a Reefton men's group and we will use our Changemaker Fund to support this group for around 6 months so that it can learn the skills to become self-sufficient. After that time, they'll still have the support of the wider network. The non-violence programs will hopefully run alongside that program so the two will support each other to provide an all-round package supporting local men. We have our second International Men's Day in Nelson in November and a similar open day to Reefton's on a smaller scale in Murchison for around February next year. And then we also have a weekend gathering aimed at new men's group that will happen over Waitangi weekend.